What is up, guys? Coop here, and today we're going to be doing a quick look at Absolver. Absolver is a new game that came out on Steam. It's kind of like, I don't know how to explain it. It's more like a fighting game that's online, that's sort of, rather than it being a 2D format, it's a 3D format. So, I don't know quite how to explain this game, but I found it really interesting. I already played a hot bit of it, but I'm going to probably restart a character, and we're going to see what roughly we can discover in 30 minutes. So the first thing that you gotta know is obviously there's a lot of things here. There's camera shakes, there's smooth effects, there's all this different stuff. So it seems like the settings are pretty nice. Audio, there's only music and sound effects, which, I mean, it's kind of the only thing that are going on. As for graphics, there's different things for shadows, textures, view distance, effects, and it seems like in general most computers can actually handle it. So I thought that was pretty good. As for the whole window mode or not windowed mode, I didn't see a way for there to be borderless. So yeah, it only appears like with windowed mode you can only have it as windowed mode or not. I kind of wish that they had a windowed borderless mode. Though I do seem to see that I can move my cursor from between my two screens, so keep that with a grain of salt. Now, one of my favorite things too is with having a sort of a combat sort of based game is having ways to actually redo all the keys, so I do appreciate that. So, without further ado, let's dive in and jump into a new game. So, jumping into the new game, basically you have your origin, which just basically means, like, what race are you? So, I usually go with icy marshes because, you know, I'm a pale guy that lives in his parents' basement. As for the actual haircuts, haircuts don't really matter that much. I mean, they do add a little bit of flavor to your character, but 9 times out of 10 you are going to be wearing masks and hoods and things. So, you can really pick whatever you want. I mean, it doesn't really matter. So we'll just go with that and with the black. Now, this is one of the most important things, are the 3 original ones here. So, what this basically does is this determines your overall fighting style. The fighting style basically kind of determines on how you sort of fight. So, for example, it kind of suggests to you like how you build your character. So this is a balanced combat style with a slight focus on strength. So basically you're going to be looking at your stats later on, and we'll actually kind of dive in and actually see what our stats can do. But the most important part is the actual active ability here. So the active ability is probably the most important because what it does is it allows you to be able to, you know, block your different way. So this one blocks completely an attack and stuns your opponent. Super awesome ability. But the issue with this and why the difficulty rating is so high is you have to do it at the right time. So that's where the difficulty rating comes in. Next you have the cult method, I think that's how you pronounce it, where you have absorb, where it dismisses the stun of an attack. The loss of life can be recovered. So it has a difficulty of 1. Basically you focus on strength and vitality. So you basically kind of make yourself into a tank. And then you have the Windfall, which is all about avoiding and slowing down the attacks. So it's pretty nice. I did play the Windfall a bit. I kind of built my character without dexterity, which is a bad idea, which, I mean, there's multiple ways to build your character, but that definitely did come into play. So, for the purpose of just trying to do this, and also because my other friends did the other 2 styles, I kind of want to see what this style will do. So, oh, also, did I mention that this is multiplayer, that you guys can actually play with your friends. So, now we get to choose our name. We'll just be Datcoopguy. Oh, I guess my character didn't get deleted. That's okay. Coop. So, there we go. Character has been made, and now we jump into the world of Absolver. So, also this game's pretty, and it does a lot of really... It has an interesting art style, which you guys will see, and there's cutscenes as well. So, that's one of the things to definitely look into. You can probably see the 3 different types of armor there. You kind of have a heavy in the middle, more of a mage on the left side, and more of a dexterity base on the right. Storyline doesn't quite make sense. I'm still trying to figure it out, which I'm sure maybe as time goes on I'll figure out more. So there you have it. That's the intro of the game. Now obviously I'll turn down the sort of sound effects here because you guys don't really need to hear that loud effects of the waterfall as I talk. So we'll turn that down just a bit. Validate. Okay. So there we go. So basically this is your character. You kind of just start off here. You have your different things like shift to block. You have your different punches. So usually it's left for the quick attacks and right for the heavy. And you can do space jump. And I forget what the sprint button is, but we'll probably figure that out in a second. It's the tutorial after all. So this is the plains of Adol. Now I changed my thing to tab just to target them, but I believe it's a different button for when you guys play. So basically you can target your different enemies and kind of bounce between the two of them, or you can kind of go around and just punch like this, but it's highly not suggested. It's actually suggested that you kind of do like a Z targeting similar to how it is in sort of Legend of Zelda games. So kind of run around, and with doing that you're able to do that, and back up, and there you go. So yep, that's pretty much how it works. And we'll go over here and we'll punch these guys here. So at the bottom there, you guys can see the stamina meter. So stamina is what kind of makes you do all of your attacks. If it drains, you basically aren't able to punch or to block. Everything from blocking to punching requires it. Heavy attacks use a little bit more, and the heavier you do it, the more it costs. So definitely some things to keep in mind. Now obviously there's probably a lot more I have to discover, but that's definitely one of the things I noticed. So now you have your stances. Each stance does different sort of attacks. So that, and you can do that, and you can block all the different attacks based off of that. So right click alters the stance, which is super helpful, especially later on. Jump down here. Some attacks have different abilities, so we're gonna go here. There we go. So we'll target this, and we'll actually show you how to guard. So guarding, as you can see, I take way less damage, and I got a little bit of a bonus there. That bonus is adding those little crystals down there on the bottom. See, guard can also cancel attack if pressed immediately after attacking. So, and that's pretty much how that works. So as you can see there, that's pretty much how that works. Now, one of the things I've noticed is not all the doors are able to be opened, but sometimes they are. So, right there, pretty solid. Now, also be on the lookout because there is actual items that you can loot. 9 times out of 10, I've never seen them really in pots, but you can always check it. So, it makes it pretty interesting so far. Now, let's try to get through this tutorial so I can actually show you some legitimate gameplay. Spacebar is how you do it. Okay. So, one of the things is obviously trying to learn how to do spacebar. So, we'll see if we can't learn how to dodge. So this character is not exactly as quick as my previous character. And as you can see here, I'm already low on sort of stamina, so I want to back up a little bit. There we go. And that's that. So, let's continue on here. Now we do also have our powers, which I'll show you guys in a bit. So we lit up that. And this is sort of a door that kind of shows you all the different things. So it tells you roughly where your location is and where you have to go. So right now our mission is to go and defeat Slain. Gotta shield up. As you can see though, dodging definitely costs a little bit more. There we go. And as you can see there, got a good amount of stuff there. Now, let's actually show you guys some of the other stuff here. So, if we go to equipment and we go to our powers, right now we have heal. So what heal does is, well, it heals. It gives you 100 health points over time. Players can get extra health points by inflicting damage. So, that's a pretty awesome ability there. So, I would just use that. I would just press my 1 key, and there we have it. Now, of course, with mage builds, you're obviously going to be getting a lot more later on. So, it'll be exciting once we get into that. Now, meditation is actually how you level up. You have a variety of different skills here. So, well, attributes, I guess is how you like to technically call them. So, strength obviously increases the power of your strength-based attacks. Dexterity increases your dexterity-based attacks. Vitality is, well, health. Endurance is how much stamina you have, and allows you, therefore, to allow you to chain and guard more attacks. Very helpful skill to actually have. Next is will. Will is good for storing sort of the shards that you see here. These shards are what allows you to do some of your magical-based abilities. And also just allows you to do some other cool things as well. Mobility is something that you actually can't increase. That actually is based off of your gear. So we actually have pretty high mobility because obviously our character is pretty much almost naked. So, what points should we put into our stuff? Well, usually, vitality is always pretty nice, but we already have a boatload of vitality right in the beginning. I always like putting a little bit into endurance, just to give ourselves a little bit of stuff, and then after that we can bounce between strength and vitality completely. So, another thing is, you can pick up schools. With meditation, I believe you can also, it doesn't allow us to look at any of that, though. We'll look at that later, though. There's some other cool things you can do, too. So, let's so here we go. So yeah, as you can see here, you can do direction of absorbing. There we go. So, and one of the things that is pretty interesting too is I'm playing this and I've never played this type of character. So for me, it's kind of interesting learning all the different combat moves. So for me, whenever I would move my mouse to the left or right while tabbed on somebody, that would actually make my character dodge completely that. So we'll open that up, and we'll get ourselves ready for this first boss. Slain the Door Guardian. Now obviously there's actually bigger bosses with cutscenes, but this one's just kind of a basic character to beat. Go back, let's regain our stuff, then there we go. Bada bing, bada boom. Good kill on us. And I don't think there's any loot for us yet. Usually in boss rooms you can try to look around and find some loot. We leveled up, so let's level up our meditation here. We will actually put our points into strength, making us a little bit more beefy and able to do a lot more damage. And we'll interact with the store. And off we go into the actual game. So that was all just the tutorial. Now we actually get into the real game. I am Talon, I'm here to tell you progress, and so you don't lose the fold, I won't be able to save you. Those who wear a mask are not your enemies. You know they will not attack you. When you are safe, you can enter meditation. Okay, cool. So yeah, it basically just tells you you can meditate. So, right off the bat, they try to, like, make it a little harder for you. By already having a bunch of enemies out here just ready to pummel you. Alright, well, way to waste all my energy. I sometimes forget, though, that the mouse is, like, kind of how you absorb things. So, there we go. Beat the snot out of these guys real quick. That, and if I were to heal there. So, off we go into the next area. And it looks like rushes are. So that's how you run. And there we go. That's pretty much the end of the tutorial there. So I'll show you guys a little bit of the actual base game now. But so far, I definitely want to say the combat's real smooth. It feels real good. And as time goes on and you start actually getting gear, that's when the game really unfolds. There's certain bosses that are a little harder than most, I would say, but the actual fighting and fighting against other players later on will be pretty awesome as well. Now, from this point on is actually where you get to do the multiplayer. You don't actually have multiplayer until after you leave this part, and from here on you can actually have random people join in. Sometimes they can be dicks and just try to attack you, sometimes they can actually be friendly and help you when you're battling. However, with all boss fights you are single and all alone, so you have to keep that in mind when going forward. But yeah, here's our kind of default character. And here we are in our beginning area. Like I said though, I really like the art style. It's got like a really cool vibe to it. I don't know, it's just very interesting, I thought. So we'll go over here. And we'll go into this big room here. So this is kind of like the main room. So in this room, you can interact with this. It shows you where actually all the masked ones are, the people that you actually need to go and kind of beat up. So as you can see here, there's 2 bosses and a total of, what is that, 6 masked men you have to beat. So the masked men are basically these little mini bosses similar to the one that we just did with Slain, and the big red ones are actual legitimate bosses with own cutscenes and own big battles. I don't want to exactly show you the big boss battles quite yet because I think that would kind of ruin some of the sort of tactics and things you have to learn about some of them. Then after you finish this area, the game actually opens up into a whole nother area. So without further ado, let's actually dive in and show you guys some of the different combos and things that you can do and do our first item pickup. We had a slight frame drop, but everything seemed to return back to normal. One of the things is you really got to be on guard when you're venturing through the world. A lot of times there'll be enemies all around the area and in different nooks and crannies. So as you can see there's the guy right there. So you always have to be on the guard and always have to be looking out. But you also want to keep adventuring because when you adventure, you can find different things, such as this. Now this is not a natural legitimate item, this is just a cool side item that you can pick up along the way and allows you to do different attacks. So as you can see, I kicked that guy's butt. So picking up different items along the world is pretty awesome. And as I can say, like I said, keep on guard all the time. Because most of the time, you never know when an enemy might sneak up on you. And let's see, I'm trying to find out some gear to pick up. Just to kind of show you how you exactly find gear. Because a lot of players forget to find gear, and it makes it really hard for them to do anything. And there we go. There's a little bit of gear for us. So this is usually where you find some gear. You do that, or you can beat some bosses and find it on the ground. So now we got some chest plate here. Let's do that. So you change our tunic and we put that. So this is actually exceptional armor, which actually is a pretty good pickup for starting off in the game. But as you can see there, it increases our blunt and our cut protection, so we get a little bit more protective from that. And it increases our weight exponentially, meaning we are a little bit slower. Watch out, we got a player here. So With players, I don't typically like know if I should react if they're coming at me or not, because some players can be just kind of dicks and just kind of try to attack us. So, always stand on guard, always be careful. Most of the time though, they will help you out when fighting enemies. It's just that you can friendly fire people, so it makes it a little bit rougher. Oh wait, wait. I can't tell if you're an enemy or a foe, that's why I'm just going to play it safe. I can't tell if you're an enemy or foe, but it looks, this person looks a little strong compared to what I am. There we go, we got our ass kicked, but that's okay. As you can see, we got killed by a lost prospect. Okay. I thought for a second that was a player because I attacked it and I'd never seen that sort of form before, so interesting. Let's see if we can't go back and kick their butt. Such a beautiful world though. If I can kick this guy's butt, then I'll be really happy for myself. There we go. Focus mode is on hardcore. I don't know if I'll be able to beat this guy, actually. I don't really have much cut resistance. I'm kind of wearing default bitch armor. Oh, fuck. There we go. Got a ceremonial knife. There we go. Hell yeah. So we got a lot of gear from that, and we got some meditation. So meditation, we'd probably want to put it in life so we don't die again. And then for our actual equipment, we've got another exceptional thing, but this one is actually a more lightweight one. So this is more for people who want speed. And we got actual pants that give us more cut resistance. So our character still looks like a basic bitch, but I think you guys actually get the point of how to actually play this character. I do think that we did pretty well. I wonder where that ceremonial knife went. Or maybe that was a ceremonial... Yeah, I guess that's what it was, a kefir. I thought I said knife. But anyways, guys, I do hope you guys enjoy. I just wanted to show you guys sort of a quick look at Absolver and show you kind of how awesome this game is. It's really cool. It's got like a sort of vibe of like you explore around the world. It's a 3D fighter. There's different sort of moves. It's kind of reminds me a lot of sort of For Honor. However, it's not so much eeny meeny miny mo, like, or not eeny meeny miny mo, but Simon Says. I don't know why eeny meeny miny mo came to my head, but you know how the game was like Simon Says. But this game actually, there's a little bit of combos. There's different builds. There's different things you have to focus on. Eventually, later on, you get different spells, so you can kind of determine what sort of build you can do. So, for example, like for me, I do strength and vitality and endurance. Some other character might be a little bit more of a dex and endurance character who dodges all the time and just moves around the battlefield. Another person might do will, and then do, you know, their attack, and then just basically sit there and guard the entire time with endurance, with will and endurance, and just get a bunch of shards to be able to cast a bunch of spells. Though there's a lot of things out there. I know later on you eventually get earthquake and stuff, so that's something to look out for. But anyways, I hope you guys do enjoy. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I might do a full review once I actually beat this game and kind of get through it deep into its features. Anyways, I thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.